If you're just looking for the best traditional dash cam, my top pick is still the Vantrue N4 Pro, and you can check out this video to see why. But today, we're gonna look at cellular connected cloud dash cams that do a whole lot more than record while you're driving, like acting like a security camera when your car is parked, providing remote driver monitoring for teens and employees with GPS tracking and geofencing, and automatic cloud video backup with SOS functionality to alert emergency services and trusted contacts with a live view. The least expensive cloud camera we'll be looking at today is the Owlcam Classic 5.0, which has a 1440p front-facing camera and a 720p cabin camera. The Owlcam Classic has an upfront purchase price of $199 and a monthly cloud subscription fee of $19.95, which includes cellular data service for the camera and storage space on the Owlcam Cloud, giving it a 2-year cost of ownership of $678. Next is the Thinkware U3000 for $379, which has a 4K Sony StarViz 2 front-facing camera and an optional 1440p rear camera for $129 extra. The Thinkware is unique in this video because it doesn't have a cellular connection, but instead lets you connect it to multiple Wi-Fi hotspots, so you can use your car or phone cellular connection when driving, and then connect to your home or business Wi-Fi when it's in range. And the major advantage of that strategy is that Thinkware Connect, their cloud service, is completely free. So no monthly fee, meaning the 2-year cost of ownership is $379, the same as the purchase price. After that, for $399 is the Garmin DriveCam Live, which has a single 1440p front-facing camera with no option for a rear or cabin camera. The Garmin Vault monthly subscription costs $9.99 for LTE service and 7 days of cloud video storage, or $19.99 for 30 days of cloud storage, with the cheaper plan giving a 2-year cost of ownership of $639. Next is the Nexar 1 Pro dual dash cam that has a 4K front-facing camera and a 720p cabin camera. The Nexar 1 Pro has an upfront cost of $449 for the 64GB version and a monthly subscription fee of $9.99, which includes LTE service, cloud storage, and live view for a 2-year cost of ownership of $689. After that is the Blackvue DR970X 2-channel plus LTE, which, as the name implies, is a 2-channel dashcam with a front-facing 4K Sony StarViz 2 image sensor and a rear-facing 1080p camera. The Blackvue has an upfront cost of $597 and lots of options for monthly plans. Unlike the other LTE cameras in this video, the Blackvue has separate plans for their cellular service and their cloud, and activating their SIM card will cost $10.99 a month for 1 GB of data, $23.99 a month for 3 gigs, or $39.99 a month for 5 gigs. And then on top of that cellular plan, you'll also need the Blackvue Cloud. And they do offer a free plan with almost all their features except for GPS tracking, but you'll need to pay $7.99 a month for the full feature set, which gives the Blackvue a minimum 2-year cost of ownership of $861 for the 1 gig LTE plan and free cloud, and an eye-watering $1,364 for the mid-level 3 GB data plan and the smart cloud plan. And last, the cloud cam with the highest upfront cost is the brand new Nextbase IQ, which comes in 3 different resolution options. And for this video, I've got the $599 2K version. There's also going to be an optional rear camera that was temporarily pulled from the market to fix some bugs, and that will be $199 when it is eventually re-released. Nextbase does have a limited free cloud plan, but to unlock most of the features on the IQ, you'll need their $9.99 monthly plan, which includes LTE data and 30 days of cloud storage, or the $19.99 a month plan for 180 days of cloud storage and multiple users. I went with the $9.99 plan, giving the Nextbase IQ a total 2-year cost of ownership of $839. So after factoring in monthly fees, the least expensive option is the Thinkware U3000 with its free cloud and Wi-Fi only connectivity. And the Garmin Live is the cheapest option with a cellular plan. But I suspect this might be a you get what you pay for situation. Starting out with parked security camera functionality, even non-cloud dashcams will record while parked when supplied with a constant power source. But the benefit of a cloud connection is the ability to be instantly notified of any parking events. So for the first test, I walked suspiciously around the car looking in the side and rear windows, as well as straight through the windshield, and in this test, the only camera that sent a notification was the Nextbase IQ, which sent a motion alert notification roughly 25 seconds after I walked into the camera's view. The Thinkware and Blackvue cameras also recorded the event, but didn't send a notification. The Blackvue caught the entire incident in its time-lapse mode, which actually ended up being the most complete footage, while the Thinkware recorded full resolution footage starting roughly 12 seconds after I came into frame. However, since both the Thinkware and Blackvue are front-facing only, the Nextbase had by far the most useful footage, using both the front-facing and interior cameras, starting approximately 5 seconds after I approached the car. And in this test, the Garmin, Nexar, and Owlcam failed to record the event at all. In the second test, I tried to simulate a forceful break-in by hitting the windshield and then opening the driver's side door. And in this test, the Blackvue notified me within 6 seconds of impact, followed by the Garmin at 17 seconds, the Nextbase at 24 seconds, and the Thinkware at 37 seconds. And the Owlcam didn't send any notifications, but the events list did show that a bump was detected, while the Nexar didn't send any notification or keep any record of the event at all. And again, in this case, the Blackvue started recording first, this time in full resolution non-time-lapse mode with a pre-recording starting 10 seconds before the impact. The Thinkware's motion detection got triggered about a second before the impact, barely catching me, and the Garmin's recording started about 1 second after impact and as a result never captured any useful footage. The Nextbase and Owlcam recordings started 3 and 4 seconds after impact, but again, the combination of front and cabin cameras provided a much more complete view. So even though the Nextbase and Owlcam didn't capture the initial impact event, they still provided plenty of useful information. And then last, in the third and most difficult test, I tried to simulate a more realistic forceful break-in where the thief would immediately unplug the dashcam shortly after breaking in. And this time the Garmin sent an extremely quick notification just 2 seconds after impact, followed by the Blackvue at 4 seconds, and the power to all the dash cams was shut off just 7 seconds after the initial impact, which prevented them from sending any further notifications. Most impressively, the Garmin and Blackvue managed to send footage of the event to the cloud before losing power, meaning even if the cameras were stolen, I'd have a record of the event. For the Thinkware and Nextbase, I was able to recover footage directly from the SD card and the cameras, even though their cloud services showed an error when trying to view those files. But if the thief would have stolen the dashcam itself, I wouldn't have any record of the event. And even though I did get footage from the Nextbase, it was the low resolution version, and the full res version showed 0 file size on the SD card. In this test, the Owlcam did show a bump in the events list, but nothing was recorded according to the Owlcam app, and there's no SD card to pull to try to recover those files. And as will become a theme in this entire video, the Nexar did absolutely nothing. So for filling the role of a security camera for your parked car, the Blackvue and Nextbase cameras were absolute standouts, with the Nextbase providing configurable motion alerts, as well as front-facing and cabin cameras, while the Blackvue had impressive notification speed, 10-second event pre-roll, and quick and usable cloud backups for impact event footage. And the last thing that I need to say about using these dashcams as security cameras is that depending on how often you drive, having a dashcam connected to constant power can significantly drain your car's battery. I measured the power draw and parking mode for each camera for a 30-minute period, and the Nextbase and Thinkware cameras used the least amount of power by far at just 0.52 and 0.56 watt-hours, while the Blackvue and Nexar used 5 times as much power at 2.53 and 2.57 watt-hours, which over a 24-hour period means that the Blackvue and parking mode would drain about 20% of an average car's battery, which is why Blackvue recommends using an external battery pack when using parking mode. But you could leave the Nextbase or Thinkware in parking mode for roughly a week before causing any potential battery issues. With that said, all these dashcams offer either time-based or voltage-based protections to make sure they don't fully drain your battery, so the only real difference is how long they can run before automatically shutting down. Next, let's talk about driver monitoring features. Not all the dashcams have all the functions, but here's a quick chart showing which cameras offer which functionality. And I've also included the Life 360 app, which offers a lot of feature overlap with cloud-connected dashcams under their gold plan for $14.99 a month. Unfortunately, the Nextbase IQ has a lot of unreleased functionality that's supposed to be included at a later date with their Guardian mode and RoadWatch AI, but in my opinion, you should always buy products based on their existing features, not ones that are promised in the future. I did a few 10-minute drives trying to check all the boxes for hard braking, acceleration, and quartering, as well as overspeed alerts, and the Thinkware did a good job of tracking my trip on GPS and marking any areas of concern. But the Blackvue had by far the most useful information, not only showing a GPS map of the trip with incidents marked, but clicking on each incident brought up dashcam footage for easy viewing. The Blackvue also had audible alerts inside the car for hard braking and acceleration, and going over the speed limit that I set in the Blackvue app caused the dashcam to emit a constant beep, which I think would be a pretty effective deterrent. The Life 360 app also did a good job with GPS tracking, but it was interesting to see that it didn't detect any hard braking, rapid acceleration, or speeding alerts, especially since my Rivian R1S is one of the fastest cars I've ever driven, and I gave it full power on the on-ramp, and it still didn't trigger an acceleration warning. The Garmin didn't really provide any useful information about the trip, and while the Nextbase and Owlcam had footage available to view, there was no GPS map or description of hard braking, acceleration, or cornering. And the Nexar, which is supposed to have all these features, said that the camera needed to sync with the cloud before showing any data, which it finally did after about 12 hours, but it still didn't show any useful information about incidents on the map, and the hard acceleration video was unavailable and stalled out at about 30% of cloud upload. So as far as driver protection and monitoring, the Blackvue is the clear winner, providing a ton of useful information with a good interface and real-time feedback for the driver in the form of an audible in-car alarm, which should help encourage good driving habits. And the Blackvue app even provides a daily safe driving score for a more at-a-glance view of your teen driver or employee's behavior on the road. And the last cloud features we need to test are the live camera feeds and SOS modes. All the dashcams in this video support live video feeds, but they are far from equal. I tested both the time to pull up the live view and the live view video delay, and the Nextbase and Owlcam were the quickest to pull up their live view at just under 4 seconds, while the Nexar performed by far the worst, finally showing the live video feed at 1 minute and 3 seconds after clicking the live view button. As far as the actual video delay, the Owlcam and Blackvue were extremely impressive with video delays well under 1 second, while the Nextbase and Garmin had an acceptable 3-second delay, and the Nexar continued to disappoint with a massive 17-second delay in the live view. All these cameras will send an instant notification in the event of a crash, but the Nextbase and Thinkware also advertise an SOS mode that contacts a designated person and provides them with a live video feed from your dashcam, as well as recording the entire event to the cloud for backup. And the SOS modes are intended to give extra security during traffic stops, minor accidents, or even just additional peace of mind when driving through bad neighborhoods. The Nextbase SOS functionality is activated by using the voice command OK Dashcam Start Witness Mode, and using that command did send a text message to my emergency contact with a web link for the live view. Unfortunately, every test that I did with the Nextbase witness mode had the same outcome, showing 404 page not found on the web link, and even more concerningly, there was no corresponding events recorded in the Nextbase app, which seems like the exact opposite of what witness mode should do. Unfortunately, the Thinkware was just as disappointing, and while it did notify me on my personal cell phone and provide a live view, my emergency contact never got the alert, because the process of setting up an emergency contact is supposed to send a text message to your contact for consent, but it never sends the text, and as a result, never completes the confirmation process. So unfortunately, while the live view does work well, none of these dashcams have a functional SOS mode. Now with all their features tested, the last thing we need to look at is how well these things function as normal dashcams. But for time and sanity's sake, I'm going to eliminate a few of them that I don't even think are worth considering. And for a reference during this video quality test, I'm going to put them up against the non-cloud connected dashcam that I personally use and recommend, the Vantrue N4 Pro. The Vantrue, Blackvue, and Thinkware all have the same Sony StarViz IMX678 sensor, which is renowned for its excellent night vision, but the Vantrue is the only camera that has its high dynamic range enabled on the image processor. And the Nextbase's 1440p camera is a sensor from OmniVision. During the daytime testing, you can clearly see the differences between HDR and non-HDR footage, with the Vantrue looking significantly less vibrant and more muted. But the idea behind HDR footage is that it raises the brightness of the shadows and it lowers the brightness of the highlights, which preserves all the detail on the image, and that's more or less exactly what we see, with the Vantrue's image quality easily on top, followed by the 4K sensors in the Thinkware and the Blackvue, and then the 1440p sensor of the Nextbase struggling to preserve detail with half as many pixels. Aside from the Vantrue, I think that the Blackvue comes out in second place, giving more or less the exact same picture quality as the Thinkware, but with a slightly higher field of view. Looking at the nighttime testing, the HDR difference becomes even more noticeable, with the Vantrue catching license plates and car details that are basically just a blur on the other cameras. And to my eye, the Blackvue easily takes second place, since both the Thinkware and the Nextbase were a bit overexposed at night, completely losing detail in bright areas like license plates and taillights. So now it's conclusion time, starting obviously with the Nexar 1 Pro, which is easily the worst product that I've ever tested on my channel. It was actually so bad that I figured I must have gotten a faulty unit, so I ordered another one, and the replacement was just as bad, if not worse. Everything about it is terrible, and despite lots of big claims and the #1 Google result for best cloud-connected dashcam, it barely works at all, and I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Nexar and the Nexar Cloud shut down before the end of 2024. The Garmin DriveCam Live also doesn't make any sense to me from a value perspective. The cellular features and app are extremely limited, and the fact that it's front-facing only and doesn't have video pre-roll means that it's mostly worthless as a parking camera. So if you're absolutely set on getting a Garmin Dashcam, you should just get the Garmin Tandem instead. The Owlcam comes in strong with an initial purchase price of $199, but it requires a $20 a month plan, which, like the Garmin, doesn't provide a whole lot of functionality. And the Dashcam itself generally performs worse than a 2-channel camera you could get for under $100. As for the Nextbase IQ, it looks like it could be pretty decent at some point in the future, but right now it is full of unreleased and only partially functional features. The low-power radar-based notifications are great for someone who wants to keep a very close eye on their parked car, but you should be prepared to get a lot of motion notifications when your car is parked at the grocery store or anywhere else where someone could just be walking around and not committing a crime. The Thinkware U3000 is a pretty compelling option for someone who just wants GPS reports for their vehicles and can deal with a lack of cellular connectivity. I personally use the built-in Wi-Fi hotspot in my Rivian, but you could also use a hotspot from your phone, or for a company vehicle, you could even just have it connect to your business's Wi-Fi once the workday was over, and you'd still get GPS reports marked up with safety concerns like hard acceleration, braking, and cornering. But if you want the ultimate cloud-connected dashcam, the Blackvue DR970X 2-channel plus LTE was the clear winner, with great parking notifications and useful 10-second pre-roll, automatic cloud upload of events, real-time GPS mapping and event mapping, and even a daily driver safety report. All that comes at a hefty price though, with an almost $600 upfront cost, plus $7.99 a month for the Blackvue Cloud and $23.99 a month for the cellular service. It is worth noting though that the Blackvue is compatible with the T-Mobile network, which is only $15 a month for 3 gigs. So you can save yourself $9 a month by just swapping out the SIM cards. Still, in my opinion, the Blackvue should be the clear choice for businesses with employees driving company vehicles, and the Blackvue Cloud even has a separate fleet plan that enables even more features like geofencing and longer GPS tracking records. However, if what you're most interested in is keeping your teen driver safe and accountable, then I think a better option would be to get a traditional dashcam like the Vantrue N4 Pro and a subscription service like Life360 that works whenever your son or daughter has their phone with them, which means not just in their own vehicle, but also in a friend's vehicle as well. Just FYI about that though, Life360 has had some pretty terrible data privacy policies in the past, so maybe consider using a different service like Bark and make sure that you do your due diligence. But I do think that with a traditional dashcam plus phone app, you're going to end up with a better dashcam and better monitoring for less money, as long as you're okay with losing parking mode notifications. As always, there are no sponsored reviews on this channel, but I do have links down in the description for all the dashcams in this video, and I always appreciate when you use those links, since as an Amazon affiliate, I do earn a small commission on the sale at no cost to you. I'd also like to thank all of my awesome patrons over at Patreon for their continued support of my channel, and if you're interested in supporting my channel, please check out the links down in the description. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and consider subscribing. And as always, thanks for watching The Hookup.